My name's Scott Shepard. I'm 44 years old, and I've been a golf professional for many years. I do a few other entrepreneurial jobs on the side. I've also last year got my license in the province of BC for life insurance. May 10th of 2021, I was just out for a walk about 15 houses down the road from my place, and I heard some commotion at the last second, and as I was turning around, I noticed a car had already popped the curb and was barreling down on me. I really didn't have any time at all to get out of the way. I just instinctively jumped as best I could, and it hit me in the legs and swept my feet out from under me. I tumbled over the car and hit my head on a rock that was along the side of the sidewalk. And next thing I knew, there was several people standing around me, and there was a bunch of flashing lights, and I was covered in blood. So that's the short version of what happened. In addition to multiple scrapes and bruises and all that, bruised ribs, I had torn ligaments in my right leg, because that's where the car first hit me. Far and away, the major injury was a severe concussion, and then of course whiplash and neck injuries as well. So even to this day, it's a year and a half or so later, daily headaches, dizziness, loss of balance, loss of memory, just severe concussion. The cuts and bruises have healed. I've still got some scars that are never going to go away, but the main issue is just the concussion and the constant headaches that I'm just dealing with. They're crippling, quite frankly. Where I would be right now if it weren't for that accident is quite frustrating. Because financially and career-wise, and who knows what opportunities it could have opened up by now, but instead my life is just in limbo. What's the most frustrating part is probably dealing with the bureaucracy of ICBC by far, and feeling like you're hopeless. I've had a really bad head injury, and my doctors say, avoid screen time, avoid bright lights, certainly for the first few months. Yet, how do you get any claims done? How do you get reimbursed for anything? You've got to fill out online forms and email back and forth with an adjuster. So they're saying, well, this is what we need you to do. I'm like, you're calling this care-based. You're literally telling me I have to do the exact opposite of what my doctor is telling me I need to do to get better. Right? So that just puts everything back. Their mandate is to proactively provide services and make sure you get all the help you need, all this sort of stuff. Yet, over time, I'm figuring out new things that I can ask for. And like this concussion neurologist, I didn't know that place existed, and they've been wonderful when I have been able to go see them. But that took over a year to even get in and see a neurologist. For someone with a severe head injury that I had, to take over a year, and the only reason I found out about it was because a person in the public reached out to me and recommended it. Like, that's supposed to be ICBC saying, okay, well, you had a head injury, let's get you assessed for this, but they're just not doing it. And so it just that feeling of helplessness, and feeling there's nowhere to go, and that they're just trying to cut you off. You used to be able to hire a lawyer to advocate for you. Now that it's legislated, you cannot hire a lawyer to advocate for you. So it's you taking on the provincial government yourself while trying to recover from severe and potentially life-altering injuries, depending on the case. Like, how are you ever going to do that? So it's clear that they're just trying to be as, just drag it out as long as possible. People just get frustrated and walk away. And it's really awful. That's not what an insurance company should be doing. That's certainly not what a provincial government should be doing in a developed nation. Like, we're lucky to live in Canada. Yet, this is just absolutely unacceptable treatment of the people who live here. It's really sad. And for me, I'm stubborn enough that I'm going to keep fighting to do everything I can for myself and for anyone else who's in this situation. But not everybody is able to, not everybody's willing to, and fair enough, they shouldn't have to. They flat out denied the neurologist's recommendation for Botox treatment, which prevent migraines. The doctor said I would be a prime candidate for it. But the ICBC representative that I deal with denied it, saying there's not enough evidence to suggest that it's an effective form of treatment. And so I tell this to the neurologist, and she says, well, that's ridiculous. I'm the doctor here. This is what you need. Like, how does this person think they know more about it than me? And I'm up in arms. I don't know. But that's what's so frustrating but yet ICBC is trying to force me to get back to work. They want to cut off services and say, okay, it's been long enough. You need to start your return to work program. But I'm like, I've got debilitating headaches, and here's a doctor that says, well, this is what he needs in order to get back to work. They say, no, we're not giving that to you. Go to work anyway. It's so frustrating, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, you call that care-based? Like, it's not. It's just not. And there's the people I've talked to who've been injured in accidents as well. They all have similar stories about how they put something forth and it gets denied, or there's all these hoops to jump through, and they just get frustrated and overwhelmed. The bureaucracy and how slow it's taking, and constantly having to justify why you think you need certain treatments. Well, here's a case where I have a neurologist saying, yeah, his brain is injured. This is what he needs to get better. And you're saying, well, we don't think it's worthwhile. I mean, come on. Who knows more about a brain injury, a neurologist or an ICBC adjuster? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Just about no fault, I think I understand the theory behind no fault somewhat. I mean, it eliminates a lot of the, or it's probably intended to eliminate a lot of the bureaucracy behind, minor fender benders. I've used this example before. Like, I understand if two people back into each other in a parking lot and maybe there's a broken taillight or something, and, who did what? Okay, well, whatever. You both pay your $300 or whatever, and nobody's hurt. You just fix your own car and you get on with your life. I can understand that up to a point. And that would probably eliminate a lot of, adjuster calls and things like that, and claims and so forth. But if you've got a case like mine where there's a personal injury involved, or if there's a significant dollar value of property damage or something like that, then maybe that's when it needs to be looked into more severely. So again, I was a pedestrian on a sidewalk. I don't understand why that even falls under no fault. Like, I don't need insurance to walk down a sidewalk. So yes, I have a car, and yes, I have car insurance, but who cares? That should be irrelevant. Like, I don't understand why that has anything to do with it. There's only one vehicle involved. It couldn't be more obvious who's at fault. I wasn't jaywalking. I wasn't even in a crosswalk. I was on the sidewalk. So car leaves the road. So there should be certain criteria that it would meet or should have to meet in order to fall under no fault. Be it cap it at $500 worth of damage and no injuries, or even something as simple as that. Anything outside of that, someone has to take a look at. I don't know what all the answers are, but I do know that what we've got right now isn't it. I didn't really know anything about this. I was like probably most people in the province. You saw those commercials. Oh, okay, insurance is going down. Didn't really know or pay that much attention to what the changes were going to be. But now that I've been forced to experience it firsthand, and I'm right into it, it's clearly a governmental issue. It's they've set it all up. It looks like, by giving everybody $100 or $110 back, in the last couple of months, to say, oh, hey, rates, blah, 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 because everyone complains about insurance being too expensive. Well, this is why we have insurance in the first place. So $110 is not going to make the difference in my life or most people's lives in BC. But if they keep that in a fund where they could actually help people who are legitimately injured in accidents, I mean, that's what it should be for. So to not do that, or however they move the funds around, like, they're supposed to be taking care of people. That's the whole point of insurance. You pay into it, so if something happens, you're looked after. And I'm just one of many cases and more every day, sadly, where it's showing that they're not taking care of the people. So what are we paying for? I admit I didn't really pay that much attention until it happened to me. And then all of a sudden, okay, it got my attention. So sadly, I think we need to make a lot of noise and create awareness in the public for people to realize, look, this happened to me. It could happen to you. It's happening to more and more people, sadly, every day in this province. And the longer it goes, it's going to continue to happen. And it's eventually people are going to realize this is not right. And the longer it goes, I worry about how they're going to be able to backtrack. I am very much in favor of a no to no fault campaign. I think it's sad that we have to actually do this. But I don't see any other way. I mean, there's people like myself, and I've had other, people who've been injured in accidents see me in the news or whatever, and they've reached out to me, which is great. And we've started to make some contacts that way. And, it's just one story after another. Some of the specifics are different, obviously, but it's all a situation where they were minding their own business, being law-abiding citizens, whatever, and someone else either made an error or negligent, or who knows what the situation was. Someone else caused something, and now somebody's life is forever changed, and to no fault of their own, and they're out of pocket for expenses. My life has been in limbo for a year and a half. Career-wise, socially, there's so many things that are just up in the air. And fortunately, I'm still around and I'm working hard at recovery, but there are a lot of people out there who will never have the same quality of life that they had prior, and they're getting screwed is really the best, most accurate way to describe it. And it's really, really sad. It's really unfortunate.